The big clock on the wall says it's 2 o'clock. Welcome, my friends, to a rare weekday live stream. And I'm doing this because I just got news. Actually, I've been getting news for the last 18 hours or so that Hertz is apologizing for something. And of course, Hertz is a frequent contributor to my program. they give me all kinds of material. And so here we are. I got to say hello to Jason, Andy, Scott, Rocket Pack, Padre, Takita, and Fatty Butterpants. Some of you are old friends. Some of you are new friends. Welcome, one and all. Hertz is apologizing for threatening to have a customer who drove 25,000 miles in a rental car arrested. Now, the story's on Jalopnik. It's also on thedrive.com and other places. It's all over the internet. I simply typed in the phrase Hertz apologizes, and my Google lit up like a Christmas tree. So here we are. The company charged the customer a $10,000 fee for driving too many miles, but it was an unlimited rental. As many people pointed out, unlimited rental is kind of like a lifetime warranty that ends before you die, or boneless chicken wings that come with bones. These are all things we've talked about recently. This version of the story is from Jalopnik. I know the people at Jalopnik. I used to work with them, have many friends from Jalopnik. But Bradley Brownell wrote this, and he says, of course, Hertz is in a heap of public relations trouble once again, as a location manager threatened to have a customer arrested if he didn't pay a $10,000 mileage overage charge for driving 25,000 miles in 1 month. Now, that's a lot of miles to put on a vehicle. And as many people pointed out, the service intervals on the vehicle might require some kind of service before 25,000 miles occurs. But the point is, that's their job to tell him that. And of course, unlimited should mean something. I don't know. Check a dictionary. So that's doing about 1,000 miles per business day. And the question, of course, is what was he doing with it? We don't know. But they didn't really complain until he came back with the high mileage and they said, oh, by the way, you now owe us 10 grand, 10 large. 10, is that 10 high society? I forgot. The rental agreement, however, said he had unlimited mileage. Unlimited. And of course, anytime I hear the word unlimited, I think of Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. When the officer goes to get that high-performance Chrysler Mopar out of the garage, and he asks the guy, what's the top end? And the guy goes, top end unlimited. So that's what unlimited means. But thank you for everybody who's here. We got 426 in the room. That's a great number. 426, of course. Cubic inches on a Hemi. In the TikTok video that started all of this, which, by the way, is highlighted on 1 mile at a time, and also the view from the wing, you can see the exchange between the Hertz manager and the unnamed customer became quite heated. Despite repeated pleas for sanity, the customer is faced with a choice of paying $10,000 and leaving, or continuing to debate and potentially getting arrested. And by the way, and this is just a pro tip, for those of you who ever find yourself threatening to have a customer arrested, step back and ask yourself what your business model is, and if in fact that makes a lot of sense to you. So he had that choice. And of course, the question is, what laws was he breaking that could result in his arrest? But technically speaking, if a business owner says, get off my property, and you don't leave, you're trespassing, and that could lead to an arrest. But I've usually seen the police show up and say, hey, they've asked you to leave. Would you please leave? So as Bradley Brownell points out, there are obviously two sides to a story, as the customer almost certainly overran the car's service intervals during the month with the machine. If they're ignoring service engine soon lights on the dash, that could have caused damage. And of course, that could go above the $10,000 fee. However, as he points out, it is in Hertz's best interest to make this PR nightmare go away as quickly as possible. Otherwise, people like me do videos about it. So they've decided to reverse the charge and apologize to the customer. So they've decided not to charge him the 10 grand, not to charge him the 10 grand. And they've apologized. And by the way, that's huge. I've said before, there are situations, I've seen companies get in situations before where an apology would have gone a long way, a long way. So here's the quote: customer satisfaction is our top priority at Hertz. Now, I'm sorry. I try so hard to do these things straight, but that just comes across as a setup to a joke. Customer satisfaction is our top priority at Hertz, and we sincerely regret this customer's experience at one of our franchise locations. And that's from a statement that someone provided to the Drive. Per the terms of the contract, per the terms of the contract, a phrase I hate, and I'm an attorney. The customer will not be billed for mileage. So they're saying, hey, look, we're going to honor the contract. Imagine that. We're going to honor the contract. Our franchisee is addressing the employee's conduct and reinforcing our customer service standards and policies to ensure that they're understood and followed consistently across our locations. And so just in case you didn't catch that subtle bus throwing incident there, they pointed out it's a franchise, and the franchise employee overstepped their bounds. And so we're going to talk to the franchisee and talk to the franchise. And they keep saying that because they want you to know that corporate had nothing to do with this one. This one's on them. What are the odds? John Sobery says, why do companies tend to dig in their heels at some points? It's just bad business. The book of dump truck. Hertz tried to satisfy the customer via the prostate. The first time I've used that word today. Mystery mayhem. What customer service standards? Exactly. So Bradley Brownell ends by saying, I guess if you need to do a whole lot of driving over the course of a month, you should probably rent a car so you aren't racking up miles in your own vehicle, but make sure you get the rental desk to confirm it's unlimited in writing before you take off, though. And of course, this guy did get it in writing. He just didn't get a clarification on whether unlimited actually meant unlimited. Okay. Top end unlimited. Sorry. So Takita Mataroshi says franchise and employees will be under new management or employment PDQ. I wonder about that. So Derek J, we're breaking into a live stream on Hertz. Yeah. And so I actually was thinking about this, and it's funny. I've done a lot of videos. I've actually put up over 5,000 videos on YouTube. I've taken a lot of them down, but at one time or another, there have been 5,000 different videos by me on YouTube. Thank you. And so I thought to myself, how many videos have I done on Hertz? Okay, so right now we've got a discussion here going, and take a guess right now how many videos I've put up that are directly about Hertz. Start naming some numbers, my friends. Let's see what happens. Devin bounces. I caught the Dirty Mary Crazy Larry reference earlier. I said that I got that from there, but yeah, top end unlimited. Prank Store says 410. Borkew's 257. Kurt Wetzel 20. We're getting close. And Joey Corbett says 23, and the actual number is 21. Counting this one, 22, which end straws hit right on the nail right on the head. 22 if you count this one right here. So believe it or not, 21 videos previously about Hertz. This is number 22. You might say, but Steve, what have you been talking about? I mean, seriously. So I started asking myself, what were all those videos about? And Dr. Hafar, is that from Man with Two Brains? I'm curious. Yeah, it's not unlimited, says Will Dwyer. It's unlimited with an asterisk, and you got to go read another piece of paper to find out what that means. So I did several videos about people being arrested for driving a Hertz rental car that had been reported stolen, and how that became such a bad problem that at one point in time, Hertz had to settle for $168 million with 364 more people. And by the way, they even admitted that wasn't everybody. The Swarm, nice haircut. Hey, thank you. It's actually last week. Nobody ever notices my haircut. So yeah, 364 or more people were arrested, but they got $168 million for the trouble. So that's not bad. I also did the story about the guy who was charged for not refilling the gas tank on his car when he returned it. Of course, the car was an EV. Joe Palou, will you be renting from Hertz? Not in this lifetime. I'd rather walk with my luggage. I also did a story about a guy who was charged for damage months and months and months after he dropped off the vehicle. And of course, he said the car wasn't damaged. But of course, when they say, well, yeah, it is. Here, give this to your insurance company. The book of dump trucks says it's not unlimited. It's cell phone unlimited. Oh boy, Lloyd Swartz, I only rent from Enterprise. And this isn't an ad for anybody, but I also do Enterprise, and I've never had a problem with Enterprise. There's a few times I could have gotten in trouble, but they didn't catch it. Another story for another day. And so Um, I also remembered that there was one story where one person apparently got arrested 4 times. 4 times. There was also the story where a guy's alibi at trial was, "I couldn't have done what you accused me of because I have proof where I was at the exact moment in time. I was at the counter returning a rental car or picking a rental car up, but that receipt, if it was time stamped, would show I was standing at the counter, and presumably then you get like security cameras." And they dropped the subpoena on Hertz, and Hertz didn't comply with the subpoena, which is another problem altogether. So it's almost like they're trying to go, what else could we possibly do? But the biggest video I've done, and by the way, all the videos are roughly the same size. But the biggest video I did with respect to how many people viewed it, how many people viewed the video, was a Hertz car that got sold, and a woman bought it. And Hertz apparently sent a note out to somebody to say, "Hey, that car's been stolen. We want it back." And the headline of the video was, "Woman buys car, Hertz grabs it." And to this day, that video's got 1.3 million views, which is pretty good for a video on my channel. I've got a couple that are over 2 million, but for me to hit a mil is a pretty good milestone. I forgot how old that video is, but it's a little bit older. But 1.3 million views, I'll take it all day long. And Hertz, to me, is the gift that just keeps on giving. Will Dwyer, remember OJ jogging through airports on TV? Oh, boy. Valentino Gracie says, that reminds me of the guy who got off on a murder charge because he was on camera at a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode attending a Dodgers game. Perfect alibi. Timothy White, Hertz isn't just the company name, it's the company goal. I mean, there's so many Hertz jokes you can make. Now, don't get me wrong. Hertz also sounds like a cool German electronic term, right? Like kilohertz, kilohertz. But Hertz, unfortunately, is taken on a whole different meaning here in America. Joe Palou says, cool. And I'll give you one of these back as a cool sign. So, Roach Dog Jr., can you get the lady who does your outro to end the video with "See you later"? Hang on a second. I was just talking to her not so long ago. Hang on. Where is it? There we go. There you go. I'm going to take a picture of that so I don't forget it, because otherwise I will. I'm going to text that to Heather. For those of you who don't know, the woman who does the intro and the outro on my videos, that is welcome once again to Lehto's Law. And thank you for listening. And then there's usually a little comment at the end. Her name is Heather. And she is nicknamed the Canadian Robot Lady because so many people in the beginning were convinced that she was an automated, created voice when in fact she is a real person. I've had professionals arguing with me going, "No, she's not." I'm like, dude, you might be a professional in voice, okay? I'm a professional in women. Bad joke. Sorry. Valentino Grace says, I'm laughing so hard that my sides hurts. Party Hut. Hertz again. and again. See you later. Something that's going to be stuck in my head. And you might go, but Steve, you've been around a couple of years, right? You've had that name for a couple of years now. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I don't I've heard other things, but not that. Mystery Mayhem. I thought the Canadian Robot Lady was AI also. Yeah, no, it's funny. Originally, I just had her do the intro, and then the outro was saying, thank you for listening. And somebody complained, and a bunch of people said, Steve, that robot voice is annoying, because they just assumed it was a robot. And so then I had to record one say, thank you for listening. And by the way, no, I'm not a robot. And I've interviewed her twice and all that. So Will Dwyer says, what do you get when you multiply Hertz by 94.9 million? You get WMMQ in Lansing, 94.9 megahertz. Is WMMQ, is that one actually, is it licensed north of Lansing, or are they actually licensed in Lansing? I know a little bit about the Lansing market, but not quite everything. Blue Halo, Heather is one of the main reasons I listen all the way to the very end. Bob Bong, hey Steve, hey gang. Kenny Howard, make it hurt so good. Johnny Cougar Mellencamp. Remember that whole thing? Brian Bloomer, Judge Middleton had a process server swear the defendant was personally served when he was in jail. Okay, now I assume you're saying because the guy wasn't served and they could prove it because he was in jail, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. Judge Middleton, I have to imagine, wasn't pleased with that turn of the facts, was he? I did the story. I forgot whether I did it on the main channel, backup channel, or some other time about an attorney in Michigan who was doing collections and defaulting lots of people in one courtroom. And the judge started to wonder, why does this guy have such a massive number of defaults that he can file where people aren't answering his complaints? And after a while, judge notices these things. And so he started looking, he realized the process server claimed he served like 17 people at the exact same time on the exact same day. The guy was so lazy, he wasn't just not serving people. He wasn't changing the times he claimed he served the people. Like he couldn't make up a new lie. He was that lazy. And the attorney actually got suspended. He got criminally charged. I forgot if the process server got in trouble or if he claimed he was serving him himself, but all I know is it was a gigantic mess. And unfortunately, there is a little bit of the honor system in some of these situations. And if you catch somebody dishonoring that system, you got to come down on them like a ton of bricks. I'm guessing the judge probably did. Max Redstone, Hertz, not if, when. Von Claude 123 Hutz, like Lionel Hutz, and Bob blah blah LOL. Hey Bob, I think you may have been one of the people who tipped me off this story, and if not, I apologize for accidentally saying it was you. But I know you sent me another one that I did do. I taped a couple today, and then I decided to push one back so I could do this one right now. So there we go. Alex Piercy, hey Steve. Pete Nikolich, evening Steve. It's 19:15 here in the UK, and that checks out by my math. So Kevin Thomas, I'm catching you live from the Milwaukee Tool booth at SEMA. I've got to come to SEMA. I saw that Jay Leno was there a couple days ago at a booth talking about his car care products. I got to get to SEMA. Also, I was just flipping around the Facebook the other day, and I caught a live stream from the Backdraft Racing booth. And I'm assuming Facebook, just digging through all my stuff, realized that I own a Backdraft Cobra and decided to pitch that to me. And I watched the guy walking around showing all the latest things they have from Backdraft Racing. David James, Steve, who are Wolfie and Milo? I believe I've done a video entitled Who Are Wolfie and Milo? Although I think it says Who Are Milo and Wolfie because I was doing them alphabetically. But they're two dogs I used to have. They passed away in the very first videos I ever did. You occasionally could see them walking around behind me. That, of course, was 10 years ago. So MMQ moved from 92.7 a few years ago. 94.9 used to be WVIC. Okay, I remember VIC. And was MMQ when you're at 92.7, was that north of town in St. John's? Or am I completely off on this one? I could be. Von Cloud 123 Hertz, we're full of surprises. Ibji, Jay Leno's chin showed up 10 minutes before he did. In case you're curious, I don't have it here. Yeah. I need to put everything I might ever mention on camera within arm's reach. I've got a copy of my own book about the Chrysler Turbine car autographed by Jay Leno because he wrote the foreword to it. And he signs his name with a flourish, and he draws a little caricature of his face. So he doesn't even mind the chin jokes, although I don't do that, but you know. Charles Young, Steve, you're laughing to the point that it hurts to listen to. Sorry. And Bjorn is saying what you've all been thinking. If Hertz wants to avoid people taking advantage, they can't market it as unlimited mileage. And that's really the thing. And you know, we talk about this. Words are supposed to have meaning. I know people go, but Steve, boneless was a reference to how they cook the chicken. It's a cooking style? Really? How'd you cook that meatloaf? Boneless. Really? Okay. Vincent DiFrancesco says, I guess I missed the part with the actual Hertz apology. And I apologize. But it was short. Customer satisfaction is our top priority at Hertz, and we sincerely regret this customer's experience at one of our franchise locations. Per the terms of the contract, the customer will not be billed for mileage. Our franchisee is addressing the employee's conduct and reinforcing our customer service standards and policies to ensure they're understood and followed consistently across our locations. So that's the apology. They threw the franchise and the employee under the bus and said, we're going to honor the contract. We're not going to charge them 10 grand, but it's not our fault. It's our franchise fault. But you know that if you are the principal and you have an agent out there doing stuff on your behalf, it falls on you. because, in fact, they are your agent. And, of course, Michael Soremakun says Milo Wolfie and 3 raccoons. It was actually Milo Wolfie and 4 raccoons. One occasion I had 3. The next time I only had the 1. But there you go. Kay Tanner says, time for a color tour up north. I see your Viper every once in a blue moon. It's about how often I see it. No, I'm just kidding. I see it all the time. I haven't had it out in a couple of weeks. It's gotten chilly here. In fact, right now I look at my watch, like it's going to tell me what time it is. It's 53 degrees here right now, so it's quite chilly. But Roy IMVU says, oh, I remember that. I had an issue with a cell phone internet provider that gave me an unlimited service that had overages at a certain point. And a lot of times I remember this, they'd also put throttling on you, meaning that if you, take advantage of the unlimited, they'll start slowing down what you can get. And the best example of that was Netflix. Back when Netflix used to actually send out the actual hard DVDs, if you got the DVD in, watched it, put it back in the envelope, and raced to the post office and put it back in to get another one, after you did that once or twice, they'd actually mark your account to slow down how often you could get DVDs, despite the fact they claimed it was unlimited. But there usually is a break point where there is a situation where they start losing money. So Outlaw Nick says it's weird not watching in front of your set. Well, I'm in front of my set. Stop on by Sundays at 1:00. I do a live stream every Sunday where we just talk about anything that pops into our heads. And there we go. Pop music, just like the song by M. New York, London, Paris, Munich. Everybody talks about pop music. Time for a New Jersey left turn, followed by a Michigan left turn. I don't know what a New Jersey left turn is, but somebody asked me the other day if I could do a video on the Michigan left turn. And I didn't know that it was only in Michigan. But in Michigan, if you've got a cross street, like a street crossing another major thoroughfare, and if it's a divided boulevard, like Woodward Avenue, and they don't want you making a left-hand turn there because it'll tie up the traffic trying to get through there, they'll tell you to make a right-hand turn, hit a turnaround, and then go this way. And I just assumed they had those everywhere. And I've been to other states, they don't have them, but they always refer to that as a Michigan left. So you make a Michigan left by first turning right, but it allows those intersections to get a lot more traffic through them. So it sounds longer, but it's not. So Robert Westfall, it's colder in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's the funny thing about Vegas is, you think it's out in the desert, but deserts get cold too. Borq says Verizon throttles after 225 gigabytes of data. Erie says Florida left turn is from the right shoulder. Yeah, and you don't use your turn signals. You don't look, and if necessary, the only thing you do is you lay on the horn. Jay Klein says those are starting to be used in Ohio, Southwest Ohio, probably because they saw how well it worked in Michigan. And you know how Ohio loves everything Michigan does. Joking. Mustang 05 left turn on red on a one-way in Michigan. Yes, that's another one that many people don't know about. I've also people get behind me when I'm going straight, start honking because I'm not turning right. I'm like, I'm not turning right. Sorry. Aaron Freeman says they pursue customer satisfaction when Steve Lehto mentions them. It's not just me. Jalopnik was all over that. So was the drive. So was the view from the wing. So was the points guy. I forgot, but a bunch of people jumped on that. And I have to tell you this one thing about social media. I joke about TikTok and Vine and whatever else the kids are using these days. And I know Vine's not real anymore. But the guy posted the interaction, and it got so much attraction on social media that the media then picked it up. The old mainstream antique media picked it up. And next thing you know, people like me are talking about it. Speaking of antiques on the media. And so the thing I've often pointed out is that you can sometimes get corporations to do the right thing if so much attention is being paid to them that they say, oh, we're getting bad publicity now. And that's the one thing I've always been amazed by, is the second something like this happens, they should have jumped on that, apologized to the guy, and given him a coupon for like a free weekend of the Hertz rental car shenanigans. I don't know if he wants it or not, but so James Stevens says, and that's Steven with a PH, I didn't know you did live stuff. Been watching you for years. Do I need to publicize this better? I've been doing live streams on and off for several years now, but I do them regularly, almost every Sunday. I'll probably do 48 a year on Sundays at 1:00. I do a live stream. Now I realize there are people out there who go, Steve, that conflicts with the NFL and it conflicts with anything else that happens on Sundays at 1:00. But I just have to pick a time and do it. Once or twice, I've done one on some other platform, other time frame, but it doesn't seem to work. Although right now I got 1,200 people in the room. On a weekend, we have 500 or 600. So the book of dump trucks is what, not on MySpace? No, obviously on MySpace. Art Pollard says the oil must have been sludge. What if it was synthetic? But no, it would still not be good for it. Tiger Man 99515. What's your take on the Wolverines team this year? Sadly, they're not doing too well. I can still coast off the happiness I felt from last year. They lost so many important people. And the fact that they don't seem to have a good quarterback, and their offensive line doesn't quite hold it together. They're probably going to go to a bowl game, but one we've never heard of before. Like, I don't know, the Hertz Unlimited Mileage Bowl or something. But I hope they can get better in the future. I really like the new coach. I do like the guy. But I like their staff from last year a little bit better. Waldo 1967 always thought the Canadian robot lady announcer was Steve's wife. People often say that. Stephen Cole says, I think because you don't mention it in your regular videos, people don't know. That very well could be true, and I apologize for it, but I'm also one of these guys, and you'll notice that my videos tend to be shorter. Like right now, we've been doing this for 26 minutes, believe it or not. And I have a hard time doing things like, okay, hit the like button, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell, do this, do that. And by the way, on Sunday, I've got a live stream. Because number one, I hate to do that. But number two, if I do that and I don't have a live stream that Sunday, then people will get upset. So, once in a while I mention it, but it's one of those things. John Tippin, Michigan viewer here. But where in Michigan? I need to know these things. Retired Butcher Boy says, Steve, during the dark days of COVID, you did all kinds of live streams. And a big thank you. Yeah, social distancing through the camera. Sergeant Grambo, have you seen these new grappler police bumpers? No more unsafe pit maneuvers. No more long chases. The future is awesome. The problem with that is it will eliminate some of those fun videos I get to watch now. I watched one the other day where a guy's doing like over 100 miles an hour on a Mustang GT, and he went down a dead-end road and just launched into the woods. I can laugh because he lived. He survived. But it's always a scary prospect where somebody's doing like 100 miles an hour through traffic and are weaving around, hitting cars and stuff. There's a crazy one where somebody's driving an RV in Michigan, and they're chasing. It's got flat tires, and it's like, what? So believe in yourself. And Steve, that color seems to suit you well, eh? This color? Sure, I guess so. Zafar Syed says you stopped doing live streams for a bit when you're doing the My TV thing. Sort of. I was just getting burned out because I was doing a live stream for them every day from noon till 1. Was it noon till 1 or 11 till 12? I forgot. But I was just burned out. So on Saturdays and Sundays, I wanted to rest. John Tippin and Marshall, we have a roundabout. Wow. So instead of being a one stoplight town, you have a roundabout. Now, Marshall, Michigan's a beautiful town. It's over here. It's down near Colon, which is the name of a town also. It's down named Climax. Stop with the jokes. Marshall, however, has got some of the most beautiful houses in the Midwest. It's a well-known fact. If you're ever driving on I-94 across the state of Michigan, you got time to kill, swing through Marshall and check out the homes. You'll agree with me, and I'm sure John will also. Stephen Cook, hi, Steve, surprise. Nora Technology is my favorite lawyer. UXIVVIXU, hello. I noticed that's a one of those palindrome thingies. Like Taco Cat or Satan, oscillate my metallic sonatas. And Hector Z, Steve, second-year law student, and also someone who attends the Institute for Justice's Legal Intensive. Love your channel, learn a ton, and appreciate that you keep me informed. Thank you for checking in, my friend. Hang in there. The third year is going to be a grind because you're already burned out and you know the end is there, but it's still just get yourself through the bar exam and there you go. Echo 314, what is the fastest you've gotten the Viper up to? This Viper, I will admit, I did not get going as fast as another Viper I've been in. Listen carefully how I phrase this, my friends. I have been in a Viper that was doing 150 miles an hour. Problem with a vehicle going that fast is, number one, the tires. Number two, wild animals, which we have in Michigan. So if you're on a road, that can happen. Notice I did not say where it happened or when it happened or whether I was driving. It's extremely important because I'm an attorney and I would never do anything that might be considered slightly against the law. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right now because we've been doing this for half an hour and we're way off topic. We started by talking about this. Hertz apologizes for threatening to have customer who drove 25,000 miles in a rental car arrested. And they wanted to hit him for a $10,000 fee because he drove too many miles on an unlimited rental. So here's the deal. This now becomes the 22nd video I've done about Hertz. Number 22. So here's the question. Is it possible that I'll be doing another video about Hertz anytime soon? I don't know. I keep saying that that's the case. And then comes video 10, 12, 18, 20, 22, 23. And Clay Bears has just got away with DUI. Thanks, Mr. Lehto Slaw. I will, as the person said earlier, see you later. Bye-bye.